Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Gathering Presents Shadowrun, Technogenesis, Part 1, ready for input. So, when we last left off, our team of just absolutely, have absolutely done nothing wrong in their entire lives, Shadowrunners.
Bunch of Boy Scouts.
Bunch of Boy Scouts. They had been conscripted into a new team from their old teams having been disbanded for many different reasons, including but not limited to being sold out by a trader, dying, or wanting to kill you. Now, that is a thing I have to do very quickly, so this may very quickly change my...
Plans.
Okay. Everything is fine. It's a quality check. Now, they had been conscripted and been given a test. Get drunk off their asses and rob a PF Chang's. Instead, well, they did that. But they also made it seem like the Halloweeners were the ones who did it. Including, but not limited to, tagging their signs and throwing a Molotov against the inside of the, of the building. Currently, the team is driving away in the truck driven by their hacker slash driver Octane, who isn't currently paying attention to whatever might be going on behind them. Because you know what happens when fire meets grease? Yet grease fire. And well, things end up not being so pretty when there's a grease fire. So we're gonna get the thoughts of the two runners that we currently have with us today. Spectre could not come and join us today due to probably some power reasons. Things that happen. What with the massive ice storms and whatnot in the US currently. So I'm gonna get the thoughts from Jasper first, and then we will move on to Koshokusha, and then we will get into the scene as it's happening. So, Jasper, what are your thoughts about the things that have been happening currently?
Yeah, as I said, with these new group members, kind of catching my breath, running from the PF chains and the SWAT team that arrived. I'm actually filled with kind of a new energy. Being scooped up from quite literally a bar after a week of just straight drinking, trying to keep my mind off of addiction, trying to keep my mind off of my guilt at the death of my last running party. I find myself now the new sort of energy. At first, of course, waking up in what seemed to be a mad scientist fantasy. I think I'm starting to get more comfortable with the idea of just being along for the ride. Not having to make the calls, not having to necessarily do too much of the thinking myself. Sounds pleasant. And so while I'm not a large fan yet of kind of the dynamic that is formed between me and this cyborg robotic overlord that's kind of commanding our party and putting us into these situations, I think that this might be a good way to spend some time for a little while and keep myself distracted and on the run. And possibly I could leverage it into taking some runs that help me. Let me explore some of my passions and maybe cash in on a couple of checks.
It's fair, it's very fair. Anything to get your mind off, well, the things that you've lost.
Exactly.
And now we have Kosakusha. Sorry, Kosakusha. So then, Mr. Oni Farmer Man, how are you feeling about the things that have transpired?
Well, things went from predictable, snatch and grab, all good. Chaos would be the apt word that follows. Chaos follows me. It is a force around us. And it is fun, yet unpredictable. Maybe a little bit of anger, a little bit of resentment for blaming somebody else. Anger at myself for danger to others that may have happened while fires raged. He remembers the family. Did he want to light those fires? No, but they were the easy target. Blame somebody else. Get the attention to give away and get away. Was there people that may have died in that fire? Undetermined. Is it something he hates to do? Of course it is. Murdering is wrong. Undesirable. But with his new chummer, well, maybe he'll find peace. And Bessie.
Maybe he will. Maybe you will. But I think there is a little roll that you need to make first.
Sure, what can I do for you, Mr. Johnson?
You. There was no actual death.
No. Well, not that I would know that.
You don't know whether they're alive or dead. You didn't.
No.
You didn't actually. You didn't throw the Molotov at them. Oh no, I make it.
Mr. Johnson, make your roll.
All right. You'll find out about that in a little bit.
Oh, great.
So, am I can't drag tabs? Oh, okay, I can't drag tabs in this program. That happens. All right, so we are going to drop into the sea now.
I do know if you asked him what he thought about why he did it, he would say that it was necessary.
As are a lot of things in this world, necessary evils. Now, as you drive down down the different highways and whatnot that permeate through the sprawl of Seattle, roads that will take you anywhere you want to go so long as you've got a vehicle to travel them. You two, along with your cybernetic companion Black Rabbit and, well, of course, your driver Octane, are in the truck. You two having the chance to go over the loot that you managed to pick up.
About how much was in the bag?
Oh, you've easily pulled away with maybe 5 grand overall in just sheer, like, cash, like cred sticks. As far as things to do with like sellables and whatnot,
Yes.
let me check what your skill. Let me check what skills you guys possess. Let's have a look at Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, this would be a professional knowledge skill in appraising. So, I will allow anyone to make a logic roll at a -1.
Just a straight logic.
Yep, straight logic at a -1.
Can we help each other? Or is we kind of...
Yep, you could do it. You could do a teamwork test if you want. However, the teamwork test will also be at a -1.
It's one. Yeah, so I was going to remind him that any teamwork tactics are at a -1.
Yeah. Well, if you're the leader,
Yeah.
your bonuses you get from teamwork are rounded up.
Right. All right. I'll make a logic roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just kind of dump the bag out on the ground of the truck and ask, you guys see anything interesting? Anything of any value?
Do I apply wounds to this roll?
No.
No. And it was a -1 modifier.
Oh God!
Oh, shit.
Oh my God!
Yeah, fuck us.
Okay.
We've
Alright.
never seen this shit in our lives.
Okay, so yeah, no glitch, no glitch, no glitch. All right, you're
Oh,
fine.
thank God.
No critical glitching or anything here. But none of you have any idea. The 3 of you have no idea what any of this stuff is.
Well, I do. Well, do I notice the firearm that Black Rabbit took?
Yes, that you would know. Do you have any ranks in pistols? I don't think you do. Actually, no. Given the type of gun that it is, I will let you make a logic automatics.
Okay.
So if you change the attribute on your automatics in combat skills to
Engineering. Oh, automatics to logic.
logic. Yep.
All right, 1 second. My laptop opened a window. Better.
Yep. And then just go ahead and roll it.
This is
And
just
roll.
Kusaki.
Yes.
Single success.
Single success. You haven't seen this particular, this kind of firearm before, but you know it's a gun. It's a machine pistol. It's a machine pistol of some kind, so it can fire in non-semi-auto. It looks, doesn't look. He said he was Lone Star, but this doesn't look Lone Star issue. You know that much for sure, because they don't issue machine pistols to Lone Star to Lone Star grunts.
Is there any sort of serial ID on the gun? If I could examine it closer.
You can. This'll just involve opening your comlink because guns these
Yeah.
days have chips in them that broadcast IDs.
Yeah, I want to see what manufacturer.
Yep. So yeah, you can get some vendor IDs and everything off of this.
Is it loaded?
It is loaded.
I will immediately try to figure out how to eject the rounds. I'll try to take the clip out.
This is a regular manual load gun, so it's just a little flick to
Latch.
little latch to let the clip out. You pull the clip out and you see that the gun is loaded with gel rounds, so non-lethal rounds.
Gel rounds.
You know that these are normally preferred by cops and runners who don't want to make a mess.
Yes.
Interesting. Can Octane hear us? Like, are we able to communicate with them?
Yes, you can. You can just speak out loud and he will hear you.
Octane, it seemed that when shit started going down, the officer said something. Do you know if a communication went out that alerted Lone Star of our actions? Is that why they responded so quickly?
Yeah, he reported a Halloweener attack over a closed circuit radio I couldn't get into in time.
Well, at least they're to blame.
He didn't catch on to the fact that, well, we weren't them.
Gotcha. We have been able to determine his identity if we had spent time doing that before rushing the PF chains?
There was no identity. His identification was purely physical.
See.
Seems like the dude ran old school. Hell, his
Mm.
his comlink was like 20 years old, like 20 years out of date. Like,
So he
almost.
didn't want to be identified.
Yeah, definitely not. Not unless he identified himself. But his comlink was like 20 years out of date. Like, we're talking almost pre-Crash 2.0 type stuff. Like, before I ascended to become a merged at the very least.
Pre-ascension. Oh,
Interesting.
Lord. Who the hell was that man?
I don't know, but I'm running facial recognition software through the camera database of the city to see if I can't see if he's been picked up somewhere else, and I can't get an ID on him. But if you were confused, to put it simply, I'm what they call a technomancer. You've heard of them, yeah? And you would have.
I've worked with one before.
Fellow brother of the spirits.
Kind of. But before that, before Crash 3.0, before the existence of the Resonance, before the existence of all of that, I was a being called an otaku. Think Technomance before Technomancers were a thing. they were able to control the Matrix with nothing but their mind. Didn't need a terminal, didn't need a deck to jack in at a jack point.
Yes, but if you look over at Koshaksha, you will notice a gigantic grin across his face.
Yeah, Koshaku, you would know. You would definitely know about the otaku for the simple fact of they were actually endemic to Japan. Like you
Yes.
found them in other places, but they were endemic to Japan. That's why they were called otakus. And that pretty much pre-Crash 2.0, back in the days of the old Matrix, where people still used cyber terminals, and to jack into a network you had to actually go to a physical point and jack in. There wasn't so much wireless around. You know that they were able to control the Matrix wirelessly using nothing but their brains. And they were a terrifying prospect. Normally, a lot of otakus lost their powers after reaching adulthood or died.
So this
But
one's rare.
there were a rare few that not only did they manage to hold on to their otaku powers, but when Crash 2.0 happened and the otaku power was lost, he's one of the rare few that emerged as a technomancer in the new Matrix. Because most otakus who didn't die or lose their powers didn't emerge and just became mundane people. So you can get the figure that Octane is a special breed. Even as far as technomancers go, which they're not terribly common. They're not unheard of. You know that Renraku have been doing. It came out that Renraku were doing some pretty horrible experiments on technomancers and have been developing anti-technomancer materials such as the pulse weave materials. Oh, sorry, universal mirror material rather.
Right.
And it's pretty inhumane, but of course Renraku don't think of technomancers as human.
You'll see. Shoshakisho kind of stiffened as he realizes just who he's dealing with, Jasper, and kind of gritted his teeth, almost audibly. How did you survive that?
Survive what?
The crash.
Actually happened to be running a job at the time within a Faraday cage. Wasn't connected to the Matrix at all.
You're either very lucky or very, very powerful.
Now, my friend, why can't it be both?
I officially recognize you as a chumma. And oh my.
Good to hear. Now, I'm gonna very quickly turn on the news, see what the airwaves have to say about our little stunt. And a screen would pop up in the back of the truck so you guys could watch as the news turns on. And you can see that they're talking about the PF Changs. That's now on fire. Very on fire.
Looks like the Halloweeners did a number on that building.
Yes.
They do talk about how this was probably the work of the Halloweeners and whatnot, and also that luckily no one was harmed.
Oh,
Everyone got away alive.
Lord, thank you. Hoorah.
Do they say if the Halloweeners accepted
There has been
that they
no
were the ones?
there has been no talk of that at the moment. They're just talking about the fact that it's currently on fire, like very on fire. That there was a bit of a grease explosion that that uh that has kind of caused the place to flash over. So now the firefighters are dealing with it. And there's a little bit of like interview with like the SWAT team that was called in to deal with the Halloweens, but they were already gone. Like they entered the restaurant and they were already gone. So this was a very much a hit and run tactic, and you then see some CCTV evidence of you guys in your paint talking,
Of course.
We
talking
didn't.
and throwing the Molotov, and
Octane, I thought you said you would control the cameras.
I did. I don't know how they got a hold of it. However, luckily you guys did yourselves up in paint, right?
Yes, sir.
Guess
That-
it does reinforce the
They haven't
belief that
they
yeah.
haven't identified you. They think it's just some random Halloween kooks.
I made
Now-
sure to stand away from any cameras.
Yeah, I mean, I did loop those cameras, so I don't know what happened. Did someone counter run?
Something don't smell right here, boss.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Did anyone else know that you had this charade plant?
No. No, I make sure to vary it up each time. Last running team I had, I took them through a cheesecake factory.
Delicious.
Well,
Well,
I mean, the owner of the franchise did end up dying by forcible ingestion of a cheesecake. But
wait, that was you?
yeah, that was me.
Well, handiwork.
I would say that there's worse ways to go.
Well, I mean, when when the rest of your existence is nothing but cheesecake for the 10 to 15 seconds you have left to live while you're choking on it, yeah, I could say that there's worse way. There's definitely worse ways to go. There are fates worse than death in this world, but
Now, on the CCTV, was our friend seen?
well, that's the silver lining here. I did actually. He was actually caught. However, he seemed to vanish so that they didn't get to interview him. He vanished into the crowd, but I've got a facial recognition to work on.
Good.
So
I think we need to pay him a little visit later.
I'm starting to scan through, see if I can't pick up a SIN identification for him. Of course, he may not have been carrying a SIN at all and spoofed the scanner some other way, or he's carrying a fake, like we do.
What David, do you mean? We're just upstanding, law-abiding citizens?
Ah.
So, what's the plan, boss?
Well, the three of you have proven yourselves, and this would be when you hear Black Rabbit speak up. Really, we've proven ourselves. Yeah, well, you've proven yourselves. I've got a job lined up, a proper one. This won't be no milk run.
What's it entail?
Well,
Or should I
that'll,
say, who's it entail?
that'll be for the Johnson to tell you. But, we will have a bit of a stop. You guys got any
Where
good
to?
clothes?
Like, what kind of good clothes are you looking for?
Like, formal.
Not. Jasper kind of looks down and says, I mean, I'm wearing what I'm wearing. If you want to drop me off at my home, I could try to scrounge something together.
No worries then.
Black tux?
Only Stiffs and Johnsons dress in black tuxes. Well, that and formal party goers. No, we need to style you up properly.
The jacket proper?
Here's what we're gonna do. I know a tailor in the Barrens. I can get him to hook us up with some real, well, hook you guys up with some real showy stuff.
Why do you want us to be showy?
Because we have a
I've
meeting.
always tried to blend in.
Because we have a meeting tonight at one of the most, or if not rather, the most popular club in all of Seattle.
Oh, hell.
Prepare for it. Exactly. Prepare for a trip into the 9 layers, gentlemen. And lady. Or at least I'm pretty sure he's still a lady. Get on with it! Right? Prepare for a trip into hell, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we have a meeting in Dante's Inferno.
You see, Jasper kind of winces at the thought of having to be social.
You will also see Kushakusho kind of tense up and then try to relax. Out loud. Alright, boss, let's go ahead and get us some gits.
Oh, don't worry about it so much. You won't actually have to do any of the talking, but you just gotta look the part.
So we get to look pretty and be stupid.
Yeah, more or less.
I think we could do that, can't we, Jasper? Rabbit?
As long as it's not too long of a night.
He simply chuckles. Depending on what the Johnson says, it could be a very long night indeed.
How long have you worked with this Johnson?
Well, I've had a run with him before. Didn't screw us over too much. You know, a little bit, because that's what you would expect of a Johnson, but...
How much do they, charge for their services?
They're pretty solid on pricing. Or at least with other Johnsons that I've worked with this company before. He's just transferred from another company. I'm not at liberty to give out any information about that, you know, professional confidentiality and whatnot, but the pay's good. That's what you need to know.
Good enough to get everybody off our backs?
Good enough that you could buy a new crop dusting plane.
Will you be joining us, Octane?
Of course. Look, I picked you guys specifically because I know all three of you are absolutely hapless in the Matrix. No one's going to be able to run technological Overwatch for you out of the three of you, so... You know.
So it looks like we're stuck together then.
You could say that, yeah.
So, which layer are we heading into? In hell.
Oh, we meet at the bottom, but you'll get a tour.
Do I have enough knowledge to know the different layers of Dante's hell?
You possess. No, not currently. You wouldn't have ever been in there. You know
No,
that
I
it
mean
exists and
the
it's popular. Oh, or
the
you mean
allegorical.
the metaphorical layers of hell. Uh,
Yes.
so, well, I actually have a write up for this. Let me pull it up.
Because I would probably know that the bar was based on that setup.
Yes, it is. It is based around it is based around the allegory of the nine circles of hell, as described
And
in
so
the as described in the
Dante's
Divine
Inferno,
Comedy.
the Divina Commedia.
Yeah. It has 9 dance floors, each with each floor going further down with each corresponding circle of hell. They also have a digital host with which offline members and online members can react with the aid of AR. The club's digital menu is for SimSense users and deliberately designed as a scroll, and the digital lounge is designed to simulate the feeling of live flames. In the digital world, staff take on icons resembling damned souls, while template IC look like demons or devils. So as far as the Divine Comedy goes, that each of the circles also provides its sin.
And you said we're going straight to the bottom. Could be treachery?
So basically, let me go ahead and yep. So you have um the upper hell outside for the 4 sins of indulgence. It's lust, gluttony, greed, and wrath. Circle 7 for violence.
Yep.
8 for fraud, and 9 for what is the circle of pride.
So treachery and or pride.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Lord. We're literally headed into Lucifer's territory.
Does that worry you?
How familiar are you with allegorical works, Mr. Jasper?
Um, I used to read a lot more than I do now.
Well, if this club models itself after the works, well, we may be in for a bit of betrayal. Or somebody full of pride.
Oh, so you've read the Divine Comedy, have you? Not many people have. It's an exceptionally old book. Fifth World. Not a lot have survived. But the allegory remains.
I am what the old world used to call an otaku, in the literal sense of knowledge and hobbies.
Ah. I see. That makes sense. But
I like my
I'll
movies and I like my books.
fair enough. Fair enough. I'll get us out to the Barrens. And you would see that the highway changes to blasted landscape relatively quickly. And then the tunnels. as the truck drives through the tunnels that Octane likes to travel through in the Barrens. You know, specifically because upstairs are all manner of malcontents who will try and jack the truck.
Yes, we're approaching literal hell.
We are. But, I wouldn't so much say that, though, as, well... well, no, I would say that. Look, the person that I'm taking you to see is a piece of work, but they do good work, so... Try
Do
not
you
to take
ever run
offense.
down? Do you ever run down their personality?
Abrasive.
Besides eccentric? Mm.
Also, when they tell you not to move, don't move.
I can handle that.
Good. Good. You'll find out very quickly why you won't want to move if you do.
Well, and he'll kind of trace the kanji. I am now just a slave, ain't I?
That's what the yaks think.
I
Well,
look over at. Sorry.
go ahead.
I look over at Black Rabbit to see if she's responded at all to the news of where we're going and such, to see if there's any familiarity that's sparked with her or anything, or any fear.
There isn't any familiarity or anything. She just seems to be maybe a
On
little,
to the next job.
yeah, a little off in her own
Sure.
head at the moment.
What's her current posture like? Is it relaxed or tense?
It's about part way. On alert, but not super tense. So kind of just sitting there,
Their own
but
business.
also, yeah, but also ready to react if need. And it would be that you guys would end up pulling out outside of a. It's a shack. Really, it's a shack more than anything else. It's like, all right, we're here.
I'll file out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll hear Black Rabbit speak up. Look, do I really have to go in there? I've already got clothing. I brought it with me. And taps a bag. Oh, well, alright. You could just stay in the truck then. Make sure it doesn't get jacked. And you would see that Black Rabbit nods, so she's not going to get out of the truck.
Could I make my chameleon suit look like the type of dress that this event calls for?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
The chameleon suit is more specifically for sneaking around. It doesn't help you. It doesn't change the type of clothes or whatever. It's just patterning and stuff, like
I'm gonna
a
ask every
chameleon
time.
skin.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe an upgrade is in the future then.
So, you would see that out of the front, there's a little bit of hissing as some hydraulics release, and for the first time, out pops Octane. You can actually see him now. He's a rather tall elf, bald, covered in a mixture of bioform tattooing, where they place specific gene wear to make the body grow specific patterns in the skin. It's like, right, I'll tell you two that you need to mind your manners, because as I said, this person can be rather abrasive.
Uses your grunt from Kusha Kusha, just agreeing.
Emotionlessly, I just nod and continue following.
And he'll lead the two of you inside, and you'll see that the inside looks very different from the outside. The entire room is done up in an oriental style. And he would turn to you, Kusha, Octane that is, and say,
Yep.
Don't freak out, the tailor here is former Yak, and I do mean former. She wants nothing to do with him. She just holds on to the iconography.
Okay.
He will tense at the mention of the word yak, and then relax when former is introduced.
Yep.
How deep was she? Which Gumi?
She was... I actually need to open a third character sheet for this because it's a Gumi that another character that I've run through this world before. Open.
Is it Gumi or Kai? Because I know both are correct.
It's Gumi.
Okay.
There. Give you just a moment to load up the character because it's in that character's backstory, the particular name. Just can't remember it off the top of my head. Alright.
No worries.
She was former Shigeta Gumi. Who they were the ruling Gumi for Seattle until a few years ago when they were dismantled. They were really progressive for Yakuza. However, they were replaced by the Kanada Gumi, who are really hardline. The Kanaga Gumi. Sorry, and yep. So, actually, I could go into a little bit of difference here, because this would be a thing that you would know. Koshoku. So, the Gumis are they're the ruling sects of the Yakuza. A Gumi is a ruling sect. A Kai is usually a specific group made up of several Gumi. A good example is the Kenran Kai, who were groups who were hodgepodge of basically non-traditional members of the Yakuza. Mostly a lot of their non-human members were Kenran Kai. Shigeta Gumi, however, accepted all kinds except trolls. So, orcs, including Onis, elves, dwarves, and humans, and their metavariants rather. You do also remember remember hearing about there being a Naga in the Shigetigumi as well, although you don't have any substantiation behind that. It's just a rumor. But several years ago, the Shigetigumi was displaced and dismembered and was replaced by the Kanagagumi, who are very traditionalist, hardline imperialists who only accept human members, and all of the old Shigetigumi members who were non-human were sent to the either sent to the Kenran Kai or exiled.
And I can assume that she was either exiled or left on her own.
This particular one,
Yes.
Octane tells you that she was the former Shigetigumi princess.
How
However,
Go ahead.
she had a run-in with a running team a little while ago, and a rather powerful being. There's not a lot more floating through the grapevine than that. That a rather powerful being who separated them away, and so now she lives out in the Barrens. She keeps everything nice and styled because she loves the life, like she loves the aesthetics and the lifestyle that she lived. But if she goes back to the Yakuza as a whole, they will kill her.
You'll see.
It is
if you
literally
bother
her
look at him,
life on the line. Sorry, go ahead.
You'll see his eyes go wide as Octane mentions the word princess. You'll see him stiffen almost robotically. All right. Let us go entertain the princess.
Just as a quick note, you don't want to call her that. Either of you. If you value your lives, that is.
I wasn't planning on saying much.
Good
No
man.
bowing either.
What was that, Koshoku?
No. No bowing either.
Oh, no, bow. That's just a respectful thing to do. Traditional. She still does traditional greetings, but just avoid princess. Trust me, I learned that the hard way.
You'll hear him say nothing but grunt again.
And you would see that an image gets flicked to you, Koshokusha.
Okay.
On your AR display, and you can tell that the elf in the picture is Octane, but he's been like, he's like missing half of his side. And Octane just looks to you with that look that says, "See, hard way."
How the hell are you alive?
Very timely trip into my Valkyrie module. I hope I don't have to put you in there.
Jasper looks a little confused, but then kind of just brushes it off, not really caring much to know the details.
I'll flick that image over to his comm.
To Jasper, okay. So
Yes,
Jasper, you would
Jasper.
receive an image uplink to your contacts, and you see the same picture that Koshoku just saw. Octane with like half of his side missing.
A quick look back and forth to the Octane I see in front of me to the picture and just sort of nod.
Yeah, we don't call her princess. And you would see that Octane walks up to the receptionist, because there's actually a reception in here. You wouldn't think so. This place looks really like a small ramshackle shack, but on the inside it looks like you haven't left it looks like you haven't left downtown. with how well styled it is. And you'd see that Octane leans down. So and you would hear this in Japanese. So if either of you can speak Japanese, which I believe Koshoku
I
can.
cannot.
You do have a Linguasoft for that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Because you actually bought a Linguasoft for Japanese.
Yeah.
So you hear the Japanese and you turn on your chip jack to link the knowledge skill up so that you begin understanding what they're saying, and you hear
Okay.
it's good to see you, Kanata-san. Is the lady in? And the receptionist, who Octane referred to as Kanata, kind of looks and asks him a question. This question's not in Japanese. It's not in English either.
What language is it in?
I would just like I'd like a memory test, please.
Yes, sir.
From all of us?
Yep, you can make a memory test too. You can find that
Attributes.
under attribute
Skills?
roles.
Oh, attributes. Okay.
You can find that under attribute roles under judge intentions.
Any
Oh.
modifiers?
No modifiers. Jasper, you have heard the language before, as if you, both of you have heard the language before. Koshoku, you remember this in the more downridden neighborhoods on the southern edge of Snohomish, heading back towards the sprawl. Basically, it's basically used in the ghetto. Like in the projects rather. And Jasper, whilst it's not exactly the same, you remember something very similar to this language being spoken during your time as a tier ghost in the Amazonian jungle. It's what the resistance that you guys ended up teaming up with used to speak.
I see.
It was also where you got your first taste of Shadowrun as existing. Okay, cool. Just making sure we didn't lose you there, Mitwood. Basically, what had happened is you had heard tales of another former tier ghost known as Sean Falstaff having run through that area looking for a now very infamous hacker known as Two Times.
Nope.
Oh, we're losing people?
Yeah, I thought you died, or I thought Discord died.
No.
So I reset Discord. Or reset the call, so I don't know about Poseidon.
Yeah, Poseidon went offline too. I hope we didn't lose. I hope he didn't lose internet.
Yeah, I thought I did.
No.
I just got a new router installed. Well, a new modem.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, no. Well, give us a second to
So, what language would this memory trigger?
It would trigger as Portuguese.
Not when I speak.
Specifically, like the South American Portuguese.
Okay, so Brazil.
Yeah.
Honduras.
Yeah.
Old Portuguese.
Old Portuguese.
Travel?
Wait, what was that?
I actually know a tiny bit of Portuguese.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, no, we'll wait a second for Poseidon to come back.
I'm gonna grab a drink. On this white ass pussy.
Haha, given the fact that everything in the US is being painted with ice and snow right about now, we're probably going to be having a little bit of technical difficulties over the next little bit. Please stand by whilst we make sure to fix these problems forthwith. Yeah, so apparently Poseidon's Discord crashed. So I'm gonna send us to the be right back screen while we fix this.
Yeah.
We'll be right back, everybody. Alright, everybody, welcome back. Sorry about that. Discord just decided to derp for in a cycle between me and our two other players here. So, as I was saying before, Discord so very rudely interrupted us.
Yes.
Jasper, you had heard this in the Amazonian jungle. The resistance fighters used to speak it.
Gotcha.
And that area also being the first time you ran into the concept of shadowrunning. Being that you had heard that another former tier ghost by the name of Sean Falstaff and his team were looking for the infamous hacker 2 times, who you now know had hacked into a Thor shot and was going to blow everyone up pretty much with the Thor shot, which is which everyone would know to be Ares Macro Technologies' orbital kinetic energy weapon.
Fun.
Yeah. But you know that the language is Brazilian Portuguese.
And sorry, just to clarify, this is being said from Octane to the Taylor
Yes.
person, or
That's
Vice versa.
the receptionist,
Receptionist.
Kaneda-san,
Okay.
to Octane, and you would see that he responds in Portuguese, and
Cool.
she nods at his response.
Yeah. Then I'll kind of just like. I imagine I would have just been kind of staring at my feet, keeping to myself, and just kind of look up instinctively, recognizing the language.
And after that little exchange occurs, the conversation swaps back to Japanese. It's a pleasure to have you back, Octane-san. Are these two with you? Yes, and he would not, and speak in English now. Yeah, no, these two are with me. Need some, Gotta Johnson meat tonight. They're, 2/3 of my running team. Oh, new runners! Can I get street names from you, please? And she would look to you two.
Jasper.
Does she want our out of characters? Does she want our Sin name or our Shadowrunner name?
Shadowrunner name.
Alright. Koshakusho.
Cultivator. I like that. Please, come with me then.
He'll bow to the assistant deeply.
Octane-san, are you looking to, are you looking to get an update on your look? That I am. I'm guessing you'll be calling in that favor that the lady owes you? I'm going to be, yes. Alright. Sounds good. Then please, if you would, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind following me. And you would see that she, steps out from behind the desk and starts, walking, beckoning you to follow her into the back of of this shop.
Does the reception area kind of match the shack-looking exterior to the place?
It does not. The reception area looks like it's done in a very beautiful Oriental style. As I said, the outside looks like it wouldn't be a stray in the Barrens. The inside makes it look like you've never left downtown Seattle.
Gotcha. Cool.
And as she leads you through the back, you find that to be the same as well. And she looks to the three of you. The receptionist looks to the three of you, walking backwards promptly dodging a couple of things that are in the way, as if she can see them. Alright, so... if I was to hazard a guess, Octane-san, and she points to you first, Jasper. You're the infiltrator. And you, she points to you, Koshoku. You're the mage. Am I wrong?
Very astute observations.
I've been doing this for a very long time. It is why the lady hired me. Unfortunately, I don't have the constitution to get into running myself. But I have an eye for what runners are good at what. And you would see that she stops you three outside of a door that's done up with a beautiful dragon, Eastern dragon, done up in jade. Like, you have a look at it, and and the entire length of this thing is pure hand carved jade.
I'll observe it closely. Well, from my perch.
Koshoku, you're getting the faint traces of magical energy off this thing.
How faint?
Like, low-level stuff. Nothing frightening, but you could feel that the entire thing has a slight... if you swap to astral perception for a moment, you see that it does give off a bit of an aura.
I
Not-
will go
Not
ahead
as
and do that.
not as strong as even say like the like the basic mundane. Like, you look towards Jasper, and he gives off no aura. Well, he gives off a regular aura, but it's not even the kind of aura that a mundane gives off. It's just a very faint magical aura, like an imprint of something has been placed upon this thing.
I'll go ahead and swap to my sight and take a look at it.
Yep. I'd like you to make an sensing check then, please, if you'd like to sense the magic.
Where is that under skills?
Yep. Skills, magical skills.
Can do, will do. Scientific magical. Okay. What is the? Is that a
Intuition.
intellectual?
It's intuition
okay.
sensing. Yep.
No modifier.
No modifiers. No.
I'm on roll 20.
There we go. Alright, 2 successes.
There we go.
Yep. So you can tell that it's a low level magical imprint. Jade is actually a relatively magically conductive material. Like, it's no orichalcum, but it can conduct magic relatively okay. It's used as ornaments on weapon foci in some traditions, other magical foci. It's a relatively magical stone, in that it can.
And you said this was in the shape of a dragon.
Yes, it's in the shape of an Eastern dragon, and it's very large. It's easily as tall as you. And you figure that the magical imprint is probably because of the fact that this is a very large chunk of, like, magically conductive material. Yep. Did I lose people?
No, I'm listening.
I hear you.
Okay. Yep. So that's all there is to it. There's no, like, actual, like, enchantments on it or spells or anything. It's just a very large, very beautifully carved chunk of a magically conductive material
In the shape of a dragon.
in the shape of a dragon, of an Eastern dragon.
I will take a look at the receptionist and respond to her in Japanese.
Yep.
Beautiful. And powerful.
It is as the lady wishes. Dragons have always been the symbol of power. Unfortunately, they are also a symbol of oppression. But
You will
the
nod
lady,
slightly.
the lady prefers to leave them in their traditional sense.
You will nod sadly. Yes, she is very wise.
She is. Now, I must warn you that you may find her to be a little prickly, but think nothing of it.
Would she prefer we use Japanese or English?
Language doesn't matter, just be respectful, is all I can say. And Octane would nod. Don't worry, if she's displeased, you'll know.
Quick
You
point of
will
order.
nod once.
Yep, what's up?
Does my language soft allow me to speak the language as
It
well,
does.
or just understand it? Okay.
No, it lets you
Yep.
speak the language. You can speak it, read it, write it, listen to it.
It's basically an auto translator.
Cool.
Or
Like,
it's
you'll
rather
hear-
it's a chip with the information about the language on it that the chip jack then feeds directly into your brain.
Right.
It's like you hear the words and you're not sure what they mean, but then it'll be translated in your brain because the information is known about Japanese.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wasn't sure how many routes it took.
No, that's fair enough. There are several different things that can affect like knowledge skills and language skills, and if you've got skill wires, active skills as well. So yeah, you'll be able to understand and speak Japanese
Cool.
as if you were as if you had 6 ranks in the skill.
Cool.
So you would be as fluent as I would be.
Pretty much. Actually,
Despite not being a natural speaker.
Japanese for you, yeah, is a natural skill. Because we talked about that. Skills.
Look at that wire.
Oh, it didn't translate your knowledge skills over.
Yeah. We can fix that during the break.
Yeah, I will fix that during the break. Yeah, so you'd be as fluent in it as you are in Spirithiel.
Which one?
Elvish.
I don't have Elvish on my knowledge skills.
No, that's for the Jasper.
Oh, okay.
That he'd be as the Linguasoft allows you to be as fluent as in Japanese as you are in Spirithiel. The
Cool.
basic pool you've got in Spirithiel. So if you do want to speak in Japanese, you can.
Cool.
And she would look to the three of you. Now, are you guys ready?
I nod.
And she would open the doors.
That is a nod.
And she would open the doors, pushing them open. to see that she's actually just finishing up an appointment right now, and you hear a loud thwack, like the sound of bamboo hitting skin. It's just like, and you hear a voice. You hear a woman's voice behind a screen. I told you, stop moving. We're almost finished. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Good.
Is this noise that we hear rhythmic?
No. It was just a single thwack.
Okay.
And there's a couple of hemming. You can hear the sound of a little bit of water? Some liquid. The drop of some liquid. There. Now it's finished. You may move. I mean, barely. Barely. You hit me so many times with that cane. My side is... Okay, I get the picture. Good. If you do, get out of my shop. And you would see someone leave. You would see someone leave. They are dressed absolutely bespokely. They are very bespoke, but they're also... You could also see that their side is lashed with cane marks. And you can hear some muttering in Japanese about idiots not being able to do as they're told. And this is when...
From her?
Yeah, from her. This is quietly to herself.
Okay.
And you would see that Kaneda speaks up now. Ma'am, what? I just finished an appointment. This had better be good. Because I've told you not to interrupt me while I'm working. It is Octane-san, ma'am. Oh, I see. Of course. You may resume your duties at the desk. Thank you. Of course, ma'am. And you would see the Kaneda bows and leaves the room.
What degree did she bow at? 15 or 45 degrees?
45.
He'll note that in his head.
And it was even further than 45 for her. She almost kowtowed, pretty much. And you would see that from out behind the screen walks a human woman. Or at least you believe she's a woman. She's very tall, especially for a human woman, and her skin is remarkably pale.
Does she read as masculine?
No. Very clearly feminine, just very, very tall and very pale skin.
As she kind of comes out of the screen, I look over at Kushaku to see if they bow, not really understanding necessarily the procedures. Kind of just mirroring them.
The second he hears movement, he will immediately bow at between a 50 and 60 degree angle.
Oh, so
Deeply at the waist, hands at his sides. head lowered to about a 20-degree angle.
Yep. Okay.
Eyes straight down.
Yeah, he's bowing very deeply. So yeah, Jasper, you would see
Yeah.
you'd see Koshaku bows very deeply, pretty much immediately.
Almost breaking his spine in half deeply.
Yeah. You would see that Octane doesn't, though. And as she comes out, oh, are we having issues with the Discord again, or
No,
nope? All right, cool. So
Nope.
you
no,
would
I'm
see.
on a browser now.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah.
looks like they fixed their issues already.
All right. Well, that is good. So you basically see that he doesn't bow, and as she comes out, she smiles to Octane. Octane, son. I was wondering when you would call in that favor. Of course, Lady Shigeta. You knew that I would eventually. It's nothing too taxing, I assure you. I just need to get us three looking our best. Oh? And what kind of best are you talking about here? Dante's Inferno. Oh. Big time, huh? Alright. I think I can work with that, and I'm guessing you want it for yourself and these two here? That's correct. I see. And she would, you would hear a little ding, probably from a comlink that she's wearing. Alright, details received. I think I can design something. Now, how are we going to work out payment, Octane? Well, you see, and he'd actually lean over and whisper something into her ear. Ah, I understand. Okay.
Can I pick that up with my hearing?
Make a perception test, but this is gonna be a difficult gonna be a very difficult roll.
Yep. Social. Okay, am I going blind here? Performance.
Yeah, it'll be under physical skills.
Right.
It's intuition perception.
Oh, there it is. Intuition.
Yep, it's an intuition perception test.
What is the situational modifier?
No modifiers. It's a threshold modifier.
Okay. Whack.
You can pick up little bits and pieces, but not enough to gain any context as to what they're saying.
Okay.
But you can.
I'll
you
pretend I'm not.
Yeah.
Listening.
But you see after he whispers something into her ear, she's like, "Ah, right. I understand. These terms are acceptable." Right. Well, I think we'll put these two through first. Get the. There's probably going to be a bit of moving. Yes, there probably will be. At least you're nice enough to save the best till last. Alright, which one of you two wishes to go first? And she looks to you, Koshaku. You can stop bowing now.
He will immediately straighten up.
Which of you two wishes to go first?
I take a step forward.
All right. Then you shall come first. Come behind the screen.
And I'm going to try to use for this process stand at attention, kind of just recalling my training from Tier Ghost to
Yep.
try to be as still as possible.
Yep. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to make me a composure test. And you're gonna have a plus. You're gonna have a modifier equal to your ranks in military.
I don't know if
you have 6 ranks in military, so you'll get a +6 modifier to your composure test.
Tight.
5 successes.
Question for the Johnson.
Yes.
When she's speaking, is she speaking in Keigo?
In Keigo?
Yes. Formal.
Yes. Yes, she's speaking formally.
So she's speaking in plate Keigo then?
Yes.
Noted.
And so you would see that she tests a couple of fabrics against you first. You're an infiltrator, which means you'll need something that your chameleon suit will very snugly fit under. You do have a chameleon suit, yes?
Of course.
Good. And I think I've got the perfect outfit in mind for you.
Do I feel like this is like a private encounter? Like, are we far enough away from the others to seem like it's just us?
Yes. There's privacy screens and everything like that between you two and Koshoku and Octane.
Okay.
And as she's taking her measurements and everything, she's giving you she'll give you a couple of orders, like, straighten up for a little bit, relax for a little bit, etc., as she's taking measurements, and you manage to comply with them with aplomb, to the point where you don't get hit. But you can see, however, that on the side, there is the old-looking bamboo cane with flayed ends, which seems to have some blood smatter on it. And she smiles. All right, I think I know I think I have a perfect outfit envisioned for you. And you would see that she goes into a little box and grabs out a couple of cufflinks, and you can see that they're actually made of jasper, the stone jasper.
Ooh, pretty.
And she places them down, and you would see that she pulls out it's currently a black tux, but you would see with a touch of her fingertip, the black with a wave turns into a deep green.
Do I feel like I can move now that she's not working on my clothing?
Yes. She's not
Well,
she's not touching your body anymore. However, when she was, her touch is cold.
Like to the point where it kind of sticks with me.
Yeah, it's unnaturally cold.
Is there a roll I can make to kind of begin to put two and two together, or
Ooh, is there a
I don't know if
roll?
I necessarily have experience with that.
I'd say a memory test would be in order here.
I only got one success.
It does strike you as odd, but no. Otherwise, no.
Sure. If I'm able to move, then I'll just kind of untuck a necklace that I have that has a piece of jasper on a golden chain, and kind of just compare it with the cufflinks. Just kind of getting a bit lost in thought in the moment.
Yep, and you'd be able to tell that the colors and everything are very similar. The color between the cufflinks and the stone that you have on the necklace are very similar.
Thank you.
Whatever for. She doesn't even look back at you as you say that, and as she talks.
For getting us with service, I guess.
She doesn't turn around, but you can feel that there's a smile there. You're very welcome, Jasper. And you would see that after some slight alterations and a little bit of embroidering, which she does with an unnatural speed and precision, she would hand you this. It's a really nice deep green suit with a white shirt underneath. Also with the ability to and it's cut in such a way that you'd be able to show off the necklace if you wanted.
I don't.
Yeah, there's easily a way to hide it, but if you wanted to show it
Gotcha.
off, it's in the perfect position to be shown off.
Okay.
And you would see that there's also, as you feel it, there's pretty much like invisible embroidering over the top of it. As if that's your mark as an infiltrator, that the pattern on the suit is straight up invisible, and you can't even see it. You can only feel it as you touch it. Go try it on. And when you do, it's gonna fit perfectly.
Cool. Take some movements to see if I still have my agility and such while within the suit.
You can move perfectly. None of your movements are restricted. In fact, you feel like you can move even a little better. It honestly, it feels like you're wearing nothing at all.
Okay.
And as you as you go and try it on, after you come back out, she'd raise a finger to her cheek, kind of looking you up and down. The cloth takes to you well, and you didn't move a single inch. You're a good customer. And you would see that
I just-
she'd actually pull out a card. It's a black card with silver embroidering and hand it to you. In case you need things done in the future.
I remain expressionless, but just nod and pocket the card.
And she gestures. You can go back out and join the other two.
I do.
And Koshrika, this would be when you see Jasper exit the
Which one?
you'd see Jasper exit the from behind the privacy screens in his new very nice looking bespoke suit.
I'll give a eyebrow raise of, well, she is good. But say nothing.
I return to the spot that I was previously standing and bowing, and just return looking at the floor.
Yep. And she would gesture to you from behind the screen. All right,
I'll approach.
you're up next.
I'll approach and attempt to stand as still as possible.
Um,
Do you need a roll for that, or
I do. I need a composure.
don't fuck me? No modifiers.
Let me check your knowledge skills. Probably not, however.
Forget my qualities.
Oh no, I'm not forgetting. Yeah, so no, nothing in there really. Yeah. So yeah, it's just no modifiers for composure.
0. Okay.
7 successes.
Oh.
Nice.
You aced that, and you would see that she's looking you over, and you would see that her eyes light up for a second. As if
Sort of emotion.
as if she's sensing you.
Do I know if it's rude to sense back? If being sensed first?
It is not. You can go ahead and make an sensing if you wish.
I know the etiquette of sensing.
Well, normally there isn't. If you're sensing something, you're gauging a magical threat, but you can see that she's sensing you. So,
Intuition.
yes, it is an intuition skill, because it's basically astral perception, like astral reading.
And 0 situational modifiers.
Yeah, 0 situational modifiers. That is actually fine. I need to pull up a table real quick.
Yep.
Because you are sensing someone.
I'm good.
Alright, where is it? $312. It's this too. Okay. Alright, so, given the circumstances, you will get the... I will give you up to the 3-hit threshold on what you would know about this person.
So up to 3 successes worth of knowledge.
Yes. So,
Okay.
the general state of the subject's health is that she is healthy.
Okay.
The subject's general emotional state right now is indifferent.
Perfect.
The subject is awakened. So, has magic.
Interesting. Do I know what sort of degree of awakening? From that roll.
Essence is higher than yours. Magic is higher than yours.
Interesting.
No cyberware. Magician.
So she's also a magician. Interesting.
Yes. You can see several astral signatures that are present from different foci and whatnot. You could guess.
Anything of those foci points stand out?
No, you'd have to make an additional sensing test against them. Because this is just against her. If you want to have a look at the foci in general, you'll have to make another sensing test.
Is that considered rude?
So long as you don't say anything.
I'll go ahead and make that test.
Yep, go ahead and make another sensing test. Let me see. Did you glitch? You did not. You don't get anything
I mean,
on
that's
the... aside from the fact that they're there, you don't get anything.
That's fine.
However, you also get a general diagnosis for any maladies, diseases, or toxins that the subject suffers.
Okay.
And this one is relatively obvious, as it seems to snake like veins through her aura.
Do I know what this is?
You've never seen it before, but you know it is some kind of disease. The general diagnosis is that it cannot be cured. Actually, I suppose the general diagnosis actually does give you what it is, so I will give this to you.
Okay.
HMHVV strain 1.
Oh, Jesus. He will attempt to keep his eyes from widening if she's looking in.
She is not. She is currently taking a measurement of
Busy.
your legs.
Then I will kind of let my eyes widen naturally and kind of hitch my breath very slightly.
Is something the matter, Koshokusha?
I'll respond back in polite Japanese. No, I'm sorry. I'm just sensitive there.
I see. And She stands, moving over to a table to sort out some things. So then, I must ask. And this isn't super loud, so Jasper, you wouldn't be without a perception test, you wouldn't be able to hear what's going on currently. And neither would Octane. Not that he's caring; he's kind of just standing there waiting. So, what who did you irritate to get that slave kanji? And she doesn't even look back at you as she says it.
He will attempt to keep his voice flat. Well, I rightly don't know, but if you happen to know, I would appreciate buying that information.
I haven't had dealings with the Yakuza in a long time. I mean,
I understand.
I'd cleanse it off you, but that would be quite difficult, very invasive, and altogether rather unpleasant. She stands, moving back over, kind of testing some fabric colors against your skin, because, well, you have some very brightly colored skin.
Yeah.
You have a rather vivid, unnatural skin pigmentation.
Yeah, the bright dark purple.
Yeah, the vivid purple. And you would see that she's looking through some stuff, and she's like, I think I've got the perfect thing for you. And the fact that you're a Shinto mage, well, that means I can pull out some stuff that I haven't pulled out in a long time.
He will kind of lightly chuckle. Well, your skills are quite amazing. Knowing that.
I would know Onofuda anywhere when I see them. Which is the talismans on your little hat, on the hat.
Yep.
And it's like, do you have a particular patron?
Would I have a particular patron?
Yes.
And
Especially with the way
you-
with the kinds of spirits that you summon.
Okay.
You very much tend towards you tend towards the kami, and especially sword gods.
Okay.
So it'd be more a matter of like, how do your spirits come out and all of that, because when dealing with a mage's attire, that's very...
Yeah. Could I mention my patron being Kagetsuchi?
Kagetsuchi? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you could do
Then,
that.
then he will respond to her question politely again. My patron happens to be Kagetsuchi-sama.
Kagetsuchi. God of Fire. Alright, I actually think... Yes, I did actually get those in. And she's like searching through a couple of drawers, and she's like, here they are. And she takes a couple more measurements and goes and gets another of those black suits from the back, and touching it to give it a... But you see, as she touches it this time, the fabric itself kind of transforms.
In what sort of manner?
obviously magical. This is obviously a magical phenomenon.
No, I mean, what form does the outfit take?
It's still a suit, but the flarings and everything make it look a lot more traditional. Kind of like a little bit like a yukata.
He will give her a smile.
And you would see that she, with her finger, is etching some symbols into the fabric.
Magical or Japanese?
Japanese, because the kanji symbols, especially when written by a magician of a tradition who knows how to put power into those words, it's pretty magical just by virtue. So, for a truer answer is yes.
Okay. Do you want your Japanese magical or not? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And as she finishes etching this stuff in, so you can see that the jacket is more like a cloak right now, in that it covers the body, but it also flows down over the legs. There are pants, but it flows down over the legs as well.
Interesting.
And you would see that she affixes some other things to it before she hands it to you. Go and try it on. And she would also push the box with the cufflinks across. You'll need those.
He'll take the garment and do as instructed.
And
Take his time because large man.
but it fits perfectly. It's like she's analyzed every nook and cranny of you to
Nice.
an almost uncomfortable degree. Especially since she really only took some measurements. Like, she was thorough in her measurement taking, but her level of precision is terrifying.
He'll rummage through his other clothes for a business card and kind of palm it.
Yep.
But return to her within 2 or 3 minutes, giving thanks to both Kagasuche and Raiden aloud.
Yep. And as you do that, as you exit rather, she has a smile on her face as well, and would simply nod to you. Right, you can go out and join your teammate.
He'll give her a polite bow and extend the business card with both hands.
Are you extending the business card to her?
Yes. Politely, of course.
She'd take it. Take it and have a look over it. What does the business card have on it?
It has his actual sin identifying name, and it has the name of his farm.
Oh, that's right.
And
you do.
Yep.
That's right. You do have that because you are a. Yep.
Yeah. And a comm ID.
looks like. And you would see that she slides it into a small Rolodex that she has. Now that's very interesting.
Yes.
Now what brought you into a world like this one?
If I may speak plain,
By all means.
I had been with a previous group who needed a bit of assistance from my two patrons. And we completed said job, though it seems to be not enough of a payment, so we say, to the Johnson. They had made a deal with my last family member, and you stop talking for just a second, struggling to not lash out. Younger sister and had made a deal for my livelihood to teach me a lesson in humility. They broke my legs and asked for better payment for next month. My benefactor, Octane Son, had promised me this job would help.
Well, given that you're going to Dante's Inferno, it just might. At the very least, you'll be
Is
able to
there
make some contacts and get some information.
is there a way I could hire your services again if needed?
And you see that's when she would draw out a business card and hand it over to you.
He will take it,
I think
bow,
we
and
could do
slide it
business.
into his. Yep, he will take it, bow, again, respectively, between 16 to 18 degrees.
Yep.
And slide it into the hem of the material.
She nods. Right.
I humbly thank you for your patronage.
You're very welcome. Now I need a little time to update Octane's suit.
As you wish. And he will again bow and back out of the room, facing her.
Yep. And as you back out and you come out from behind the privacy screen, Jasper, this will be when you'll be able to see Koshoksha's new digs, as it's so put.
Cool.
And this will be when Octane heads forward. And he's not behind there very long before he himself comes back out dressed up in this it actually seems to be a relatively plain suit, but then when your AR overlay clicks onto him, you can see that there's augmented reality fashion woven woven into the fabric. All sorts of patterning and stuff that doesn't seem to be there without the overlay. Right. Now that that's over and done with, we are going to go and have our little meeting with the Johnson. You guys ready for this?
For nods.
Right. Then come with me.
You will bow once to the figure behind the screens and exit behind.
And you three would go ahead and leave the establishment, entering back out into the Barrens, and I'm guessing getting into the truck.
Carefully, but yes.
And you'd see at this point, the Black Rabbit's still in her gear, but she does have her dress stuff ready to go. Just didn't want to change at the back of the truck. Although, to be fair, the truck is probably just as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than where you guys just were. It's just more I don't want to take that out of Spectre's hands, because I remembered why they're not here today.
Wait, what's up?
Oh, it's fine. I'll share the break.
Yeah.
They so Black Rabbit just adjusts a little bit as Octane hops up into the rigger cocoon in the front. Right. Do we have any more stops that we want to make before we've got this Johnson meet? We've got a couple of hours.
Could you maybe tell us a little more about the client?
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. And I think this
Would
will
you
be as they pull out. This will be when we decide to go on our actually regularly scheduled break, and we'll have that conversation about who the Johnson is and whatnot after we come back.
Correct.
So I hope you
Cool.
guys are enjoying. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, everybody, welcome back to The Gathering Presents Shadowrun Technogenesis, Part 1, ready for input. Thank you guys for waiting. I just had to go on a little bit of a break, get some food, all of that kind of good stuff, as we all love. Now, our runners would find themselves currently dressed in their new bespoke suits given to them by Lady Shigeda, who, well, seems to not be as she seems, as Koshokusha found out.
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all like she seems. But,
She's a woman of mystery and beauty.
that's one way you could put it. And it would be at this stage that you asked Octane the question about the Johnson that you were going to meet.
Yes.
He doesn't work for one of the Big Ten per se, but he's an advisor to the corporate court, where the Big Ten have a seat. Yeah, when I said big time, I meant this was big time.
Which of the 10?
None of them. He serves the corporate court as a whole.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, this is the real big time.
Why us?
Well, he's looking for... Let's be real, he thinks that we're expendable assets. But basically, he's looking for a group to go ahead and hear out some problems plaguing the city and going to deal with them. They've been having issues with a rather well-connected sect. I don't know if you would have heard of them. They're known as the Keygen Church.
Would I've heard of the Keygen Church?
Memory test. You may make one too if you wish.
Sure.
Jasper?
It is under skills. Man,
Yep, so
I
two.
am fucking blind.
Yes, so no
Oh,
glitch
there it is.
on the whoop, that's yes, and suggest. Yep, so two successes. Okay. There's been
No
stuff floating
glitches.
around. There's been stuff floating around the Matrix. Gee, is there any glitches? No. No. Okay. Yep. So there's been that name has floated around the Matrix for the last little bit, but you don't really know very much about them. It's just rumors.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Give me just a second. So yes, just needed to do that. Right. So, yeah, it's just rumors and stuff at the moment. But Octane continues on.
Could you repeat the name of the sect?
Keygen Church.
Keygen Church. You'll notice in the channel, beside there was a post made 2/12/21 above below the image of the Halloweener. There you
Mhm.
go. That's what he's referencing.
Cool.
In name, I should
In
say.
name, yes. In name. But it was. Yeah, you've had the name floating around the Matrix. Octane continues on. Apparently, they've been causing some massive, almost global level issues. Going through and defacing Matrix hosts like no tomorrow.
Do they have a reason?
Not as far as I'm aware. It seems relatively random, but they've been making some very dangerous connections with some very dangerous people.
How dangerous?
For starters, they've been connected with several organ-legging rings.
Yeah,
Oh.
and with that, Jasper kind of perks up. His pointy ears being drawn back as breathing kind of skips a beat.
One of whom is, well, you've heard of the Boogeyman.
Have we?
Yes. Go ahead. This one isn't gonna be a memory test. This is pretty well known that there is a boogeyman that resides in Seattle streets. It's an organ-legging organization known as Terminus. And as soon as you hear that, Jasper, I'd like you to make me a composure test, please.
Any modifiers?
No.
God, you're really sticking it in our backs.
I am.
Ooh, nice too.
In order to glitch, I need more than my successes, correct?
It's more than half the dice pool needs to be ones.
Okay, cool.
So you only got 2 ones.
Just checking.
Yeah, so no, you didn't glitch. I just need to very quickly check the threshold on that test. One moment. Oh, is it? Oh, did I? I'm sorry, I asked you to roll the wrong thing. My apologies. Or did I? Yeah, no, I did. I asked you to roll the wrong thing, so I need a memory test from you. Willpower logic. Alright, that's also not a glitch, but it is a fail. So, your driven quality is gonna kick in right now.
Okay.
You have this compulsion to... He's mentioned Terminus. You need to know everything Octane knows. You have... you have to know, pretty much.
It's a compulsion.
It is pretty
Yeah,
much
no, I
like a
get it.
compulsion. So... You're probably going to start asking a whole bunch of questions to Octane about you know, what's Terminus's involvement in this.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. And
So with the mention of the boogeyman, I'll ask how long has the boogeyman been involved?
apparently it's a recent venture. But anything that has their name anywhere near it is bad news. I mean, this isn't Azamando.
How close is the relationship between Q-Gen and Terminus?
Not sure. I wish I knew. That would make things easier because trying to deal with that as a thing is not easy.
Is the Johnson more concerned with Q-Gen or Terminus?
The Johnson's more concerned with Keygen. Trying to tackle something as big as Terminus, who have a legitimate corporate presence in other countries, is not easy at all.
Sure.
So they want us to take down the local sect instead of the master.
They want you to take down the Keygen Church. Terminus is Terminus. They're pretty much, unlike the Big Ten, they're pretty much untouchable. Like, they're an A-grade corporation. They're not here in the UCAS, but in Amazonia, in Azamando, and a few other countries around the world, they have proper corporate status.
Has recent Terminus activity, have there been an increase in blips nearby?
Little bit.
How do we know that?
Not much.
How do we know that Keygen Church is involved with Terminus?
It's my own research into preliminary things that the Johnson gave to me. The preliminary research shows that they're basically providing bodies, mainly of the hackers who have been killed by a dump shock.
Keygen is providing Terminus bodies, or vice versa?
Keygen is providing Terminus bodies.
Are they a legitimate organization, or are they just puppets?
Honestly, neither. It's like a cult. And I don't get why it is they're doing what it is that they're doing. Their motivations to the murder are inscrutable, but they're causing a lot of damage. And basically,
So they're playing at religion.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
Disgusting. Don't they know the spirits are all around us? To be cherished? To be honored?
Well, it's given their name, and I believe their inner core is something rotten, tainted with dissonance.
Black dissonance?
Octane kind of goes quiet from him. Dissonance is... You know how there are things like toxic shamans, right?
Yes.
Goshoku? And yes, you would know
Hey.
that. You would know about toxic shamans.
Yeah.
Dissonance is like it's the same kind of principle. Dissonance is to resonance what toxic magic is to magic.
So it's the inverse of resonance.
kind of like the disgusting underside of it, the perverted, twisted nature of it.
Are we worried that going after Keygen will activate, will make Terminus interested in our actions and such? That by targeting this one small sect, we might be attracting larger enemies?
It's possible, but at the same time, Terminus has their own issues.
Who's up their ass?
Well, their operations in Seattle are highly illegal.
And nobody seems to care, or nobody seems to be able to make 2 and 2 make fish.
It's more... Quite frankly, it's more a humanitarian issue. For all the horrible things that they do, there's also advocation from ghoul advocate groups and things like that that make this a very complex issue. You can't just get rid of them, or otherwise all of those creatures will starve or resort to attacking and eating people.
Do we know why Terminus would need the bodies of hackers? What benefit that gives them?
I have a theory.
I mean, not over any other body. It could be a... Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Could it be something to have to do with their dissonance that certain tops like to use?
Well, dissonance is really only a thing that can affect technomancers, which is why I'm confused as to why they're dumping hackers. I'm thinking honestly that they're just targeting these people because they can reach them easily, feeding the bodies to Terminus in exchange for more physical firepower. Because I mean, if they're looking for physical protection, something like a Zunu Kwa.
Yes, but aren't they dangerous?
Exceptionally. But dissonance affected technomancers aren't going to care about that. They're mad.
But even if those cousins, and I say this here lightly with the infection of trolls, seems to need all this, correct?
It can, yeah.
Even associate back there need them in a way.
Also correct, to a point. I'm just confused why they'd want to go ahead and play with fire.
You happen to know their tenants.
No clue. They don't seem to have, as I said, their actions are exceptionally random. I'm thinking that they're working with Terminus is simply just a matter of opportunity. I mean, ghouls are exceptionally tough creatures, for one. And that's not including any higher level species such as, you know, Garou and the like.
I mean, it seems like we have a bit of work, and I hope that we don't run into any Grendel.
Well, we could. That's the thing. Jasper, you seem pretty interested in Terminus. Why is that?
I believe their actions are immoral, and I know the danger that provides. I don't want to make sure that we're not getting into something over our heads, just targeting a small religious zealot gathering.
Yeah, they do have their fingers in quite so many pies, but I'm not sure exactly where besides that one. So they could be a much bigger problem than a simple grassroots sect. You know what I mean?
Sure. Just want to make sure that you and R. Johnson have done as much research as possible before adding our fingers to that pot.
Oh yeah, no, I've done some research. Hopefully, the Johnson has more, or at the very least, point me in the right direction to get you some more information, because this unsettles me.
Wouldn't that leave you open to danger?
It's very likely, but I mean, to be fair, I'm already in danger.
So, how deeply does this Johnson have us by the balls?
Well, the Johnson doesn't, thankfully. Although he could very easily. You know, being an advisor to the corporate court means that all he has to do is convince any of the Big Ten that we're liabilities, and well, then we have the likes of the Renraku Red Samurai, or Ares Firewatch, or SK Fire Teams coming down upon our heads.
Did, and if this is too far for me to ask, did this Johnson ask you to take us on this little cookie and milk run?
No. No, that's my initiation, to see if you had what it would take to do a job like this. One second.
What's your take on this, Jasper?
Like I said, I'm weird to get involved because I'm not quite sure.
Apologies, I just had to raise the thing because the food got here.
Did you have to cancel a man?
Nope. I'm just gonna very quickly pick this up. So just a second. I'm gonna give this
Yeah.
give you two a chance to talk amongst yourselves about the information you've been given.
That's what we were just doing, actually. So, what seems to be your goal in all this, Jasper? I know you want to stop this Cajun church, but it seems like you want to go a bit further.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are you not at all worried or concerned with what we're getting involved in?
I mean, dangers expected with running.
Fair enough.
Do I want to do this? Hell no. But
All right. Apologies.
you need. Go
Oops,
ahead.
sorry. Nope, you go
Hey,
ahead.
man. But you need information, it seems like, and I needs Bessie.
I was just simply trying to make sure that we all have the information.
Well, I mean, you seem to be the best when it comes to talking right now, at least. Thanks to our silent friend over there. I just don't want you jumping down somebody's throat trying to get information.
I'll be more reserved in my inquiries going forward.
Are you sure you're able to handle the stress of Terminus's grip? You seemed a bit out of it.
No, Terminus isn't a trigger for me. I'm going into a job and I want to make sure what we're getting into.
Can I make
Like I say, going forward, I'll be less excitable.
Could I make a judge intentions on that? To see if he's kind of holding back information?
You may. Jasper, I would like you to.
That's the wrong roll.
Yeah, I would like you to respond with composure, please. It doesn't seem so, but Terminus does irritate him, very obviously.
Noted. Well, gentlemen, lady, I think we do have a date in hell. Are we ready, or should we just keep making sure we have the information?
I'm prepared to meet with the Johnson.
Right. Well, if you prepared to meet with the Johnson, then go ahead. We're gonna go meet with the Johnson. Black Rabbit, you can get changed in the truck bathroom. There's a sigh, and a little bit of a muttering of like getting changed in a bathroom. And you would see that after a little bit, Black Rabbit. I need to do some sheet changing real quick. Would come out in a rather nice looking dress, although with the helmet still on. For now, at the
Oshako
very
will give
least.
her a look over very slowly, almost predatory, but say nothing.
The dress is designed to accentuate the digitigrade legs that Black Rabbit has, as
You
well
will
as
hear a. Go ahead.
oh no, that's all I was gonna say.
You'll hear a growl of not attraction, but more approval.
It's like, right, well, Into the Inferno we go. I hope you're ready.
Down to the treacherous level.
Down to the level of pride, yes. And it would be at this moment that the truck pulls up into a private parking lot. And you guys walk over to the entrance to Dante's Inferno, where you would see the bouncer standing there blocking the entrance. And a rather large line to get in.
You'll hear growled from Kushako. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Gentlemen, ladies.
And Octane walks up to the bouncer. And the bouncer gives him an eyebrow. He's like, back of the line. I'm sorry, I don't think I have a chance to introduce myself. Mr. Johnson is expecting us. And he'd look the four of you over. He raises a hand to his ear, listening for a moment. Understood. Mr. Johnson's on level 9. Don't keep him waiting. And this will be when you will enter Dante's Inferno. I do have a scene for this. I wasn't able to get it ready for today, but I do have a scene for this, and you'll see it next week.
Yay!
As you walk across the catwalks above the first floor, where you can see that there is it's just a general dance floor and lounge here. And there's like there's a whole bunch of augmented reality avatars as well, as there are a lot of digital guests. Normally, this is how the regular person gets into Dante's Inferno, but it's the very basic lounge. And I would like both of you to make me a memory test, please. You'll have a +1 on this, but I'd like both of you to make it.
Memory, you said.
Yep.
It was
Oh,
a
hell yeah.
plus. Come on, keyboard. +1.
Nice.
There are, as you go through, you see that there is one of the top VIP lounges. It's off to the side, guarded by bouncers. And you see 3 people sitting in there. An absolutely massive orc. I believe he's an orc? Did I make him an orc or a troll? Give me a second. I need to get that up real quick. Yeah, you see an absolutely massive orc. He's not so much taller than you, Koshoku. He's about the same height.
But is it wider?
He's much wider. And you see that his arms, he could crush Plascrete with those things.
Do I know if he's a variant or if he's just big?
He's just real big. He's just really, really big. And you can also see that just from having a look at him, that his very bones, seem real. Like, when someone says that they're big boned, normally they're just coming up with the fact that they're fat. but this guy looks like he's big boned, and you figure that he may have some kind of bone density augmentations. But he looks like that if he got a hold of you, he could tear you in half with his bare hands.
Does he look familiar?
No. He has a very heavily scarred face, though.
Scarred how?
Slashes. He's got an X on his cheek, and one of his eyes is also got a scar across it. Although still seems that the eye is okay.
Does that bring any memory to me?
It does not.
How about the other two?
The second one you see is a gnome.
Average height for a gnome, or?
Relatively. And he seems to be talking with someone right now, making some rather flirtatious gestures. In fact, I actually even have a picture. Once it wants to load.
And this was over the group.
This is like a physical representation of what you see.
Oh, and this is on
It's on the scene. I actually put it on the scene,
yeah,
so that you can see it.
Yeah, I'm having issues seeing it, but give me a second. Let me refresh.
It's having issues loading on. There we go.
I see it.
Okay, there we go. And this is the gnome that we see?
That's the gnome that you see, yes. Just give me a second to zoom this back in.
Is that who I think it is?
Who knows?
God damn it.
And finally, you see an elven man. Seems to be a little uncomfortable. He's tall, he's bald. And you see you see quite a bit from him regarding his tattoos. He's very heavily cybered up. In fact, I don't think you have ranks in it. Otherwise, I'd get you to make a check. No, you don't have any ranks in it. And it's you can't. It's a trained skill, so you can only do it if you have ranks in it. So you can see that he's very heavily cybered, though.
Okay.
I'll allow a memory test to see if you can identify any of the cyberware.
Okay. Both of us, or
It could be both. Jasper gets a 2. Koshuku gets a 5. Alright, so Jasper, you can tell that it's cyberware, but you can't really tell what kind of cyberware it is. You've kind of just let the boffins in the lab deal with the cyberware type thing. Although you have a bit of it yourself.
Okay.
Koshoku, you've seen this particular type of cyberware before.
Alright.
It's a control rig. And it's a very particular you don't know like of any branding or anything like that for the cyberware, but you know that control rigs are what riggers use to do the rigging.
And he's currently wearing the control deck.
He doesn't have his RCC on him, no. It's just the control rig implantation.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Does
you don't see any kind of a command console or anything on him though.
And the gnome is flirting with him.
The gnome's flirting with someone else, probably what looks to be one of the staff.
I will take their faces to memory.
Yep.
And I don't have any sort of facial recognition software or anything, correct?
You do not.
Okay.
However, you do hear a word mentioned. It's just over the din. You just hear it.
And my word is?
Broadside.
Does that trigger anything?
No.
Does that seem to be a code name, a alias, or unknown?
It seems like it could be an alias. You've heard of more odd aliases than broadside, so someone could be using it as an alias.
Or they could be talking about a weapon. Bringing it
talking-
broadside.
Could be talking about a weapon, or like a maneuver, could be talking about a person, or anything, really.
And which one of the three spoke the word?
The elf did.
Interesting. I'm gonna mutter to myself. Need to keep an eye on that elf. Need to know more.
And then
You're
you're
saying that to
actually
yourself, or do I hear that?
How close are you standing?
would be relatively
you're
close.
walking.
There's not a
Yeah, I
lot of
imagine it's
there's not a lot of
pretty
room on the catwalks.
tight space.
I'd say what? Within, 5 steps?
Easily.
How good your hearing?
I have some long ears.
I call this buying hits on a perception test. And given the modifiers and distance, he'd be able to buy 4 hits on the test. So, very decent hearing.
I mean, I would just
So, yeah.
respond like, I'm assuming that's the Johnson.
And Octane looks around. Who?
I will kind of kit my head toward the group and kind of cock a horn in that actual direction of those 3.
He kind of looks him. No, I can tell you for a fact that's not the Johnson.
But they do seem of note, especially the big one.
This is when Octane kind of looks down, and it's gonna be Octane making a check now, because Octane
Oh,
can
Lord.
do those.
Yeah, I forgot he's actually just a SNPC.
Yes, he's currently he is a GM PC, but you can tell him what to do, and he will make the check if
Yeah.
you ask him. I'll make that a
Which he
memory
did.
test.
Yeah.
He's also gonna have a +1 test for that.
Oh my god.
Jesus, man. I think he recognizes him.
he has a logic.
Same as our cheat code.
He has logic and willpower boosting submotions. Because that's a thing with technomancers. They're really mental heavy.
Yeah, I noticed.
Like they're really mental heavy.
Yeah, when we started with this build. Never mind. Moving on.
So he looks down. He's like, "No, they're definitely not the Johnson. That's a Shadowrunning team."
Which one?
Are we auditioning?
No. I think they're just here to have a good time. No, those three are a Shadowrunning team. They work together. It doesn't look like they have a mage among them, but by her fashion, and he points at the gnome, she's their hacker. And you'd be able to tell that her clothing does have AR fashion wound into it, just like Octane's does. The big guy over there, he's their Street Sam. Seriously, those augmentations he's got look like, because I could sense the fact that he's got cyberware installed. He could tear someone in half with his. He could tear a troll in half with his bare hands and not even break a sweat.
I believe it.
And him there, he gestures to the
bald elf.
Yeah, to the bald elf. He's a rigger. He's got a control rig installed. He's got quite a bit more installed than that. But he's pretty cybered up.
I take it they're a bit of notoriety for that three.
Yeah, actually, they are.
I heard something about a broadside.
Well, then I know exactly who they are.
Mind sharing?
Yeah, but he's rocking reaction enhancers, wired reflexes, control rig, and booster.
So, 1% of him is still human? Or else?
A little bit more than that, but he's rocking quite a bit of heavy, how you would say, heavy augmentation. You heard broadside, and that's very likely that, you remember that news story a few days ago? About a building being dropped on a helicopter in the heart of downtown Seattle?
Uh-huh.
With a truck and a rocket launcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's them.
That's them?
I'm pretty sure anyway. Or at least that's what the sources say.
How the hell are they alive after what they try to pull?
They laid low. They've probably changed identities among other things, and well, they're not gonna get anything but absolute praise from Shadowrunners. Come on, we need to keep going so that we're not noticed.
Yes, but that gnome is quite alluring.
Yes, the dome is alluring. I would suggest not to pay any more attention to it, because there's a very good chance that if you do, you will end up dead and unable to complete the job.
With the mention of dead and not able to complete it, he will snap his attention to the front. Well, it's for Bessie. Let's hurry.
And the Octane would usher the three of you into the elevator and hit the 9th floor button, scanning a hand to put in some credentials to get down there. And you can see that you pass several different floors. A strip club with a menu that you can order off.
Lust.
A high-class restaurant. That's all you can eat.
Gluttony.
A fighting pit.
Violence.
A theater. And a few other things.
The theater doesn't strike me as anything.
I believe that might be the floor of envy.
Yes.
And he leads you to the bottom floor, which is stark white in comparison to the lights and the dancing and everything and the fighting. You know, you can hear the screams and the blood. You can hear the acting. You can hear the other dancing as you reach the bottom. As you go past the floors, reaching the bottom, which it's a very laid-back lounge. And there are several different levels of meeting rooms. And as you come out, you would see that there is a troll dressed up like a demon.
Biblical demon or
Biblical demon.
interesting.
Mr. Johnson. Correct. Right this way. And he would, the troll would then lead you 3 plus Octane, of course, into a meeting room. It's stark white in this meeting room, except for the black-suited Johnson a human, sitting on a table across from 4 seats.
What does he look like exactly? Is he...
He's relatively nondescript. Short, brown hair, fair skin, green eyes, not really anything noteworthy.
Does he give off a presence?
He does.
And what does he exude?
He exudes almost a commanding aura, a commanding presence.
Okay.
And he looks to the 4 of you. I'm guessing you're Octane and Company? That would be correct. Wonderful. Call me Mr. Johnson. Take a seat.
I'll take a seat where he indicates.
Likewise.
What was that, Jasper?
Likewise, I also would.
No sudden movements being made.
And Octane and Black Rabbit would also sit down. And on that note of sitting down and beginning to discuss the job, we're going to end the session there. Because I had forgotten that Specs was on a trip out of town this week. And wasn't here, and Black Rabbit is the party base. So I think it would be better if they were here to deal with the negotiation side of things.
Yeah, you don't want me dealing no negotiating. Considering how I negotiated my Bessie.
Yes.
Yeah,
Considering how you negotiated to buy Bessie.
here's let me buy my crop dust back. Ow, my legs.
Yeah, that's about what happened. I mean, to be fair, you kind of got what you paid for. Except you didn't. You just got broken legs. But no, I'm gonna end the roleplay portion of this session here for today. As I said, I would like Specs here to do the negotiating and stuff, because the Johnson
Sure.
meeting, especially since it's a short form game, the Johnson meeting is really where the face shines.
Yeah.
And it's so that I don't end up accidentally taking that opportunity away from the only really charisma heavy character in the party.
Mhm.
I mean, if we
Um,
got 5 more sessions, give or take.
We have, after this one, we have 4. 2, 3,
that's
4,
right,
and
because
5.
0 counted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um.
I just hope we'll get through the story with 4 left.
Oh, we will. I wrote it with that length in mind. So, and like accounting for stuff like this, because regular plans normally don't survive first contact with players.
Yeah.
And I have learned that as an invaluable skill, and I put that into my planning, so that you guys will get a story that starts and ends in that length. And not to mention, we're actually kind of ahead of schedule because of the fact that I thought we were going to have to do the PF Changs this session. But because we got it all done
Right,
in
we
session
are ahead.
0, we're actually ahead. So we're still technically ahead by a little bit. But no, this is where I'm going to end the session for today. I hope both of you guys enjoyed, even though it was a bit of a slower session. Just
Oh,
get
for
it
sure,
working
really.
up to the Johnson meeting, but the action's
Yeah.
coming. The action's
Oh
coming.
yeah, I like the opportunity to get more immersed into the world and kind of start to expand it and such.
Yeah.
Totally.
I do like to do world building early. It's because that it makes the action more impactful when it actually happens. Like, you know,
Sure.
it also helps that, we found a bit out about Jasper today, that he
Yes.
has a grudge against Taminus for something. We
Yeah.
don't, like, I know what, and the players also know what, but
Mhm.
in character, no one knows exactly what that is yet. But that foundation has been set. The concern about going to the Tailor Lady Shigeta and finding out that she was the former Shigeta Gumi princess, and given Koshokusha's very recent, very bad,
Run-in.
very adverse run-in with the Yakuza, his apprehension and stuff on that. And the bringing out of qualities and things like that from the outset, like that kind of world building makes the action a lot more impactful.
Yeah, when you said we were going to meet a former yak, and I'm like, well, shit, she could have actually ordered the head on my legs. Literally.
She didn't, because
But still.
yeah, it's like, well, depending on who she is, yeah, she could have been the one to be like, yeah, break his legs.
Yeah, did you take Bessie?
What?
Excuse me, I whispered something in Portuguese. My legs!
my legs.
My legs!
But no, this is where we're going to end the session for today. I hope both of you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys back here next week for the second session for part 2 of The Gathering presents Shadowrun Technogenesis. Now, we have a raid that we're going to do.
So, where are the Yoms Viking going to go?
The Odds Viking we are gonna go say hello to a friend of the channel. We raided him last week. We're gonna go ahead and
Cobb Derek.
yes, we're gonna go see Mr. Macabre Derek, who I will say, you saw a cameo from a character that's owned by him tonight.
Ooh.
You did I will say what that is after we mute.
Yeah.
So that you guys in the audience can have it as a little bit of a surprise. But if you watched Shadowrun Scales of Judgment, If you haven't, you can actually find it here.
And on YouTube.
Well, that's what I mean. You can find it at, on the YouTube
Yeah.
playlist right there. Now, no, where? There we go. And so, you guys can go and watch the 3 parts of Shadowrun Scales of Judgment on that playlist. But for now, the presentation is finished. And as the raid counts down, we shall charge in and say hello. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Night,
night,
everybody.
Good night, everyone.